Hi everyone. Yeah, headsets on. Hope everyone can hear me all right. See lots of nodding heads. Perfect. So welcome and thanks for joining us. In the next 30 minutes, we'll be here to talk about why we think there's a decline in using dashboards and what modern analytics could look like. I'm Daniel from ThoughtSpot. I've been with the company for almost 3 years. I'm joined by Luke from Thomas International. Thomas International is a customer of ThoughtSpot, so Luke's going to be sharing with you a little bit about how they are using the ThoughtSpot in their company. Here's the agenda we have in mind for you. So we are here to give you an overview of ThoughtSpot as a company and what it is used for in the sense of building a modern analytics interface on your cloud data. So I'll show you a demo with that, and we'll, around halftime, pass over to Luke to talk about their journey with us and how they deployed ThoughtSpot and the outcomes of that. At the end, we'll get back to what's next and give you some suggestions on what you can do if you want to try ThoughtSpot. Just a little bit about our mission. It's really about creating a more fact-driven world. That translates into we're looking to make analytics self-service with data available for all user types. I'm sure many of you here have been working with other BI tools, like myself in the past, and we use the words self-service. But it's about self-service for who? So I encourage you to think about that as you think about the processes and how you have been working with BI tools and the roles and responsibilities of different user types within that process. We're thinking about self-service for all user types that are people that are maybe non-technical in that sense, people that don't know how to write SQL, that maybe didn't learn or easily adopted drag and drop technologies to create charts and dashboards. So just out of curiosity, I want to just ask a very quick questions by the hands up. Who here in the room knows how to write SQL code? Fantastic. So we have quite a good technical audience here, and a lot of the things that I'm going to say will hopefully resonate. So in terms of what we brought to the market from a technical point of view, in the ThoughtSpot platform, there is a search engine. The idea of search in the core of our platform is to really provision that mechanism, that capability to interface your data without knowing the technicality, the SQLs and joins and all that behind the scenes, right? So it allows a user to express a question, to get an answer from data that may be a new question that nobody thought of in advance, but with natural language, with the English in the sentence or other languages that we support to ask that question. And the search engine translates that into SQL for the user. The other component that is very important is the AI-driven insights. Our automated insights are there to provide the users with explanations on what led to a change in a data set. If you see a trend going down or up, you can get the AI engine to analyze that for you and give you some insights in how that happened. Anomalies, trends, correlations in data sets. It's there to help the average user to explore data and get more valuable insights from it. If you look at the customer list here, there's a wide range of different customers from different industries. You're all from different industries here today in the room, but I'm sure if you come and visit us at the booth later, we can discuss maybe the specifics of your industry, your area of business, and how analytics relate. And maybe we can share with you some specific examples of customers in your space that are using ThoughtSpot. About the leadership, it's our position in the market and our aim to change how analytics has been done. If you look at the data landscape, in the last 5 to 10 years, data platforms have really revolutionized how we do warehousing. It's all in the cloud these days. A lot of new investments are in that space. Everything from ETL and where that is done is being changed. But if you think about the BI landscape, not a lot changed in the last 10 years, right? A lot of the technologies that we are using today on the modern cloud data stacks are visualization tools, BI tools that were architected and built 20 plus years ago. So we are taking this leading position to drive change in the market and think about analytics and the process around delivery of data in organizations in a different ways. That's why you see organizations like Snowflake not only using ThoughtSpot internally for their analytics needs, but they partner with us and they share roadmap, and we share roadmap with them in how we're going to architect the modern analytics stack for that data landscape. They're also an investor in our company. They chose to invest in ThoughtSpot as an analytics partner, but also to accelerate our roadmap and development in that space. And it's not only Snowflake. If you have other choices of data platforms such as Databricks, say Microsoft Azure, if you're on AWS with your Redshift, or some of the other popular choices in the market, we can still work with that. We have a program and an integration with all of them. So here's why we came to fix the BI challenge in the market. If you think about the BI process in many organizations, it looks like the following. And it's usually about the dashboard creation pipeline being complex and slow. A lot of the things that you see here on the screen that we are talking about from left to right in the process of getting the data into the warehouses and the lakes is followed up by a middle layer of, we call them cubing and aggregating data here, but a lot of technical steps in order to get your data in a shape that is okay to ingest into a dashboard. And eventually the dashboard is also a predefined report. You're always in the process of trying to understand the business requirements in advance, the possibilities of how they want to ask questions, where they want to drill down, and defining all that in a dashboard. And then that BI team in the core of that owns the entire technical process of creating all this and publishing a dashboard. If you have done that before, I'm sure you have seen that in the real life, there is a never-ending iteration of these reports because the businesses are dynamic. The questions are changing. The users are come back with different demands. And before you know it, you're back in editing those existing reports or creating new ones. The problem with that can be that it can be time consuming to do, but also it's not always a very scalable way of responding to the increasing demand of analytics in organizations. As the demand goes up, we're going to have to find ways where we can be operationally efficient as a BI team so that we are not there all the time to build for the never-ending curious users and the variety of questions that they're going to come with. So we're going to have to find ways where they can self-service in a secure platform where you control data, you can be control of the governance, access, definitions of measures and KPIs, but you don't have to be there to build them the filters and the drill downs and how they want to use that data, the ways they want to break it down and look at it in different charts. So this is what we are trying to do. And in a nutshell, it flips that process around in the way that you're still in control centrally for the data, but a lot of our customers have come back to us with that feedback that they finally have their business users doing self-service. The users that never knew how to write SQL, that we never had to even put through training, days of training for learning how to use a BI tool, were able to go into ThoughtSpot and answer their own questions. It's fundamentally done with search. There's a few different things I want to show you in the demo, but it's fundamentally through a consumer approach to analytics. The change here is the analyst is not necessarily the focus persona anymore. It's the end user, it's the consumer. We are empowering the analysts to provide that experience to the business instead. So this is why we say dashboards are dead. We don't believe in the concept of publishing a dashboard, creating those dashboards as a small group of people that always have to serve the masses. Instead, we found ways for all user types where the majority of users are non-technical to be able to go in there, to edit, to build their own dashboards if they want, to get their own insights and new answers on the spot. The value for the business users is they finally get something that's new. We invested all the money and effort in building the new modern data stack, but the front end looked the same for years. And for them, it's a whole new experience. It's more consumer grade. It's easy to use like your application on a phone, and they get their heads around it. They understand how to go and answer 5, 10, 20 more questions. And for you as BI teams and technical folks that own the data, it's operational efficiency. It's a better ratio between your number of people and how many you can serve. And it's a way of getting time back to not spend on creating more dashboards and instead going and adding more value to data models and building more data and create that and prepare that for the business. So with that, I just want to finish up with this about the platform. You have two ways of consuming ThoughtSpot. Everything that I'm going to be demoing today is the native application and how it looks like if you would use it internally in a business to answer to answer questions, to chart and plot data in different ways. But you can think of that as components that you can white label and use in your external facing analytics too. So it's not only for internal usage, but it's also for external usage. Many of my customers are providing analytics as a service or as part of a data monetization strategy. They don't just give the data to the businesses or external customers. They are keeping the customers within a platform where self-service with their data is possible, and they can see everything that the customers are doing and learn from that too. So with that in mind, allow me to switch screens and show you how this works. So some of you in the back of the room, I'll try to zoom in and out at times so that you can see what's going on here. So first of all, we need to meet the organizations where they are, right? We say dashboards are dead because we don't want you to publish static reports. We don't want it to be a one-way flow of the few serving the masses, which doesn't scale. But the starting point might need to be familiar with for the end users, and this is something that you can do. The difference is all user types end up creating their own versions of the data and charting them in different ways and answering questions. But most of the deployments I've seen with ThoughtSpot start here. You're onboarding your end users with something that looks familiar to them, that they see maybe some of those usual KPIs and charts that they're looking at. But very soon, we show them the ability to go and explore the data in more detail. We give them the easy ways, even though where the data literacy might be low in your community, to step up on that data self-service ladder and answering more questions. Some of the times, the users are looking at the data and they need to start drilling into the details. You're not going to be in the business of defining drill down paths or having to guess where they might want to go from here. Instead, what ThoughtSpot does is to give them the option to see the data that you allow them to see from the warehouse, where you can have lots of data, a wide range of data sets, high number of columns, lots of rows of data, where they can decide the next step. What if the user want to go and see for that particular month of my sales for jackets in this case, how the distribution looks like over geographies. That's all automated. They don't need to bother around in configuration windows, dragging and dropping things and filtering and all that. It should be as simple as easy clicks to answering questions. The focus here is not on being pixel perfect. The focus should be on getting the answers as soon as possible. That's the primary goal. And if they want to continue on, there is no limit. We have really built something that can generate SQL on the fly. It's querying your data source that you approve for the search, and it comes back and visualizes data for the user at this stage. And if they have other things in mind and they want to go and maybe change the data that goes into that chart, maybe changing the axes and doing more amendments, that's going to be as easy as a few clicks and sentences too. For example, if I'm an e-commerce person and I want to see my retention only for the last 2 weeks, and that's what I care about every time I come in to see a last 2 weeks of the data, I can come in here and I can say last 14 days. ThoughtSpot knows how to help me to the date column and to query that data on the fly and giving me a number, and then I put it on a daily breakdown and I can see my chart. If I need to change that in other ways, it's possible too. But I think you get the idea. It's about giving that power to the end user. And if they need to save things, they can be dashboard creators too, right? In that traditional sense that you save your charts onto something. That's what I just did. I called it Daniel. I saved that because this is something I want to get back to later. If that wasn't enough, and you want to really go into that full mode of self-service with ThoughtSpot, we also give people that search engine that I've been talking about. Behind all that, those objects is a search engine that did a query on the data set. We can get back to it. We can see what that original query looked like in the search field. And if we want to, we can also start from scratch, right? Sometimes you just want to start with a net new question. Let's go with this. I might want to see, this is probably a good time for me to zoom in so people can see there in the back of the room. I want to see jacket sales. I care about jackets. I don't care about all the products. We have lots of things that we sell. Might be a retail organization with a high SKU of products. But I'm looking for jackets. And as I start typing in the search engine, think of this as a search engine that exposes the data to the user immediately so they can pinpoint exactly what they need. It's done with indexing on your cloud data. It looks at all the columns, the column names, but also at column value level, all the field values, in my case, all the different product types in the data. And it's guiding me to the right insight, guiding me to the right selections. So here I say I want jackets. Maybe I want to see the revenue of that. And I want to see it daily for the last 7 days. And as I type in, it keeps interpreting, completing my sentence, and coming back with the answers. This is what it looks like. And for the techies in the room, just to let you know, this is what ThoughtSpot does. It joins data on the fly, it knows where to get the data from, and it knows how to write a SQL on the fly. So when I said we bridge the technical gap for the end users, this is where the magic is. That instead of needing to write SQL, or when you need to write SQL, you need to know how to write good SQL, we take care of a lot of that, so that more users can focus on their questions that is expressed in a natural language, and our engine does the SQL for them. The last thing I want to show you of this demo is also a glimpse of what that AI engine looks like. So let's say I'm looking at monthly sales, and for some reason I don't know what's happening here in the data. If I don't know the next right question to ask, I can use the AI engine for that. It's built into the product to be so easy to use that any user type can use it. Meaning you're not really in there to write Python code or something advanced, right? It's built-in algorithms for outliers, change analysis, and so on. And the results come back. You can see the top one here come back 10 seconds ago. Shows you a report. Tells me that there was an increase of 33% in the data in the time frame I selected. Here are all the sort of reasons why that change happened. For example, sales increased with certain specific products in mind. The change happened in certain stores. It was mainly jackets and a lot of insights that I didn't have to think about. I didn't maybe even know what questions to ask to get there, and it's in here now for me to see. So that's sort of a very high-level demo for you. I hope that's interesting enough for you so you come back to our booth afterwards and see a bit more. But with that, I'll hand over to Luke to talk to you about how Thomas International deployed it.
Hey everyone, as Daniel said, going to kind of talk through for the next 10 minutes or so about our journey at Thomas International and how and why we implemented ThoughtSpot. So I guess first off, who am I, who are we? So Thomas International is a talent assessment platform, essentially applying psychology, psychometrics to businesses, helping them to recruit better people, develop better leaders, work with better teams. Who am I? So senior manager of data science. Been at the company for 4.5 years. We've had a bit of an interesting journey this year where we've inherited a lot more responsibility due to some changes in the business. So our data science remit not only is that kind of machine learning insights piece, we are also, as of this year, now responsible for the data engineering, the business intelligence, the product analytics piece. And the reason I emphasize that is we're a small team with 5 people, and a big part of our problem was what we inherited was a huge amount of legacy tooling, a huge amount of legacy issues around our data. And we were posed with the problem and posed with the task, how do we free ourselves up as a team to focus on the product more? How can we start adding value to the product more rather than spending all of our time building dashboards and responding to queries from people? So in terms of where we were in terms of that landscape, what we inherited, everyone will probably empathize with this. Data in our business was scattered all over the place. Everyone had different definitions. You would ask 3 different teams the same question and all of them would come back with a different answer, and all would technically be correct because that's what their data was saying. So we had a huge piece around how do we standardize this and how do we make sure everyone is singing off the same hymn sheet. There was also a low adoption rate with the current BI tool we were using. So we had about 160 plus Tableau dashboards, and only 4 of them were being used. And we had to make sure all of these were being maintained. We didn't have the right license set up, right license structure set up. Only a very limited set of people had access, and that was with our kind of direct market and our kind of franchise channel go-to-market partners as well. And there wasn't any scalability. So we've just launched a new product as a business, and one of the pieces we're looking at is how do we grow rapidly as a business, and how does data underpin that? For us, our current BI stack, our current data stack just wasn't allowing us to do that in a scalability way that was time effective, time efficient, but also cost effective and cost efficient. So that's kind of where ThoughtSpot came in. So the 3 main reasons we brought in ThoughtSpot were this. The first was scalability. It's probably not the most interesting reason, but one of them was cost. For us, it made far more sense for us to emphasize going with a ThoughtSpot model of payment, where we want every single user in our business to have access to the data. That is one of the pieces I will champion the most about ThoughtSpot. You have unlimited users on it, so everyone in the business can access it. And that was a really powerful thing for us. We wanted to try and drive this data-driven culture and make sure everyone had access to data, everyone was using their curiosity, asking their own questions, and that was a big part for it. Then that comes to the kind of self-serve piece and the granular insights to data. There's been a load of talks over the past 2 days around the concept of data mesh and how you set up data mesh in your business. A big part of that is empowering business users who know their data, know the questions they want to ask, and allowing them and empowering them to get accurate insights to their questions as quickly as possible. ThoughtSpot has allowed us to do that because, again, we are putting it in the hands of users. What we did as a business, as a team, we set up a standard set of dashboards and live boards for people to use. People then we saw immediately went off and created their own. We saw people actively engaging with us, building their own pieces, asking their own question. And what we are now doing in the background is just facilitating that data piece, feeding more and more data into these live boards for users so that they can get more and more of their questions, which then leads to the flexibility piece. Our previous kind of BI tooling in Tableau, everyone just used it as a reporting tool. Everyone just went in, downloaded the Excel or CSV and wanted to work off that. What we are now seeing, what we're now trying to do is shift people into a focus where they can use a tool like ThoughtSpot to ask their own questions and really engage with that curiosity and inquisitiveness that they have. So where is our kind of future and where are we going next in terms of how we've implemented it? So we implemented ThoughtSpot in 3 weeks. We did a rip and replace of Tableau for ThoughtSpot. Probably wouldn't recommend doing it that fast, but it can be done that quickly. So a big piece and a big focus for us was around getting our go-to-market part of the business set up and ready to go. So how do we put more and more data in their hands, as I say, and allow them to ask those questions? A big bit of that was allowing people to start creating their own reports. We're now scaling that out beyond just the go-to-market piece. We're now working with our finance teams, our product teams, our channel businesses. We have kind of franchises around the world. How can we give them access to ThoughtSpot so they can then help run their own businesses properly and start to see the metrics that matter most to them, and they can start taking more action and ultimately seeing how the marketing campaigns they're doing, the engagements they're having with their customers are having a tangible impact on their business as well. And then, as I say, the next big focus for us is now pivoting more and more into the product, understanding how our product data, how we can explore it and make more efficient decisions around what are we going to build next in terms of platform? How do we make sure we're addressing our customers' needs? ThoughtSpot has been a really powerful partner with us on that journey, exposing a lot of the data and giving us those accurate insights into those questions. So in terms of what is next for us, as I say, we built a new product about a year ago, and to be candid with you, we're a private equity-owned business, and there is a sale event on the horizon for us. A big piece for us is getting ready for that sales event. How do we make sure as a business we know we are doing what we can as effectively as possible, that the actions we are taking are having material impacts on how we are scaling as a business, how we're growing, how well we're serving our customers. That is why something like ThoughtSpot has been so powerful for us to help us get really drilled down into, did this marketing campaign work? Are people using this new feature that we're launching? And empowering the, say, customer success team, marketing team, product managers to access that data, ask their own question, and then make decisions off the back of it. That's probably the biggest bit what's in the future for us. We're also experimenting with how do we enable and empower our customers as well? They use our product, they want to learn about how they're using it, what trends they can see. So Samantha in our team as well, she's been working with our product team to work out how we can potentially use ThoughtSpot to embed in our product so that our own customers can explore their data, so they can see what's working for them, what's not working for them as well. I'd say that's hopefully a very quick insight into us, our journey with ThoughtSpot, and I'm going to hand back over to Daniel.
Thank you, Luke. So we're almost at the end. I'm probably going to give you a few minutes back. What happens next? I want to start with saying that the product is available. It's available online without any download or installation required. You can access the cloud version for free for 30 days. We've got flyers for this on our booth if you'd like to come over and get that so you can get started. And I challenge you. I would like to challenge you, if you don't mind, saying, try it out on your own. I always say proof is in the pudding, and if you try this on your own, you'll see that you could within minutes connect to your cloud data and get that search going, and it's quite exciting, but also a good learning experience in that free trial environment where we provide in-app support when the time fits you to help you to explore the capabilities of the tool and what it does. If you would like to visit us after this, we are at 535, which is in that direction. What Luke and I will do next is just walk over and wait, and if any one of you would like to have a chat or maybe tell us a little bit about how you do data and BI in your organization, and if that can be relevant for ThoughtSpot, then we're happy to have that conversation. We're not allowed to stay here, but we're going to meet you there if you come over. Thank you very much for your time, and hope to see you.
Could I please ask everybody to file out the back way for me, because we're so busy? If you could file out the back, leave all your headsets on the back of the seats, and please take any rubbish with you. Thank you so much.